So let's start things off by speaking about a very popular sparkling wine that you're familiar with, no doubt. That's Cava. So what are the plans that Cava's got, especially in the UK markets? So what kind of exciting kind of plans have you got for the current or in the future?
Well, what we do is we have a budget. Generally speaking, when we are talking about Cava, one of the missions of the DO is promote Cava, obviously. Most of what we do has to do with education, because we don't have bigger budgets to really reach the consumer in a more massive way, and we really concentrate the efforts in a few markets. The UK is one of them, okay, and what we do is we have different issues. We do things with getting connected with. We have a Master of Wines event. We have a Discovery Week in which we do things in the market. It's a week in which there are some restaurants that cooperate with us and some wine shops as well. That's basically what we do in the UK, generally speaking. And plans is to continuously do that every year, but we don't have a massive campaign in the UK per se.
Because obviously Cava was around and fairly popular some years ago, and then it went rather quiet. Even potentially the price point went down for it, and it seemed to be rather, what's the right word? Not in turmoil, but quite lost. And even of recent years, people in the wine industry itself weren't quite sure what's happening. Was there any disputes? Was there any issues? But for sure, we know the quality of Cava. We know it can stand shoulder to shoulder with other traditional method sparkling wines. And it has a very good character that many people enjoy. So you're saying that you've got events coming up for the UK market. Are you looking to also install it once again as a favorite for UK consumers?
Yes, but again, not with massive campaign. What we are doing in the UK, and that's happening in the UK, but we do the same thing in other markets, is Cava is well known in the UK. It's our fourth largest market. We have been selling Cava. The weight of Cava has gone to the groceries and some multiple retailers as well, but to the groceries, and most of it is under the sort of Cava label, sort of private label, not so much branded. It's taking the signature of the retailer, basically, with some different names. And
well, I think that's quite. I mean, when it comes to champagne, most people would probably name 5 or 6 champagne brands.
Yes.
But when you say Prosecco, people won't be able to name one. So I think that's a repetitive kind of situation for most other sparkling wine regions other than Champagne. But what about growing consumer confidence? So you think that these events you're doing in the UK will get people back into the swing of tasting Cava and tasting quality Cava and seeing how it compares against Champagne for one, but we've also got things such as Cremant or the Method Cap Classique styles.
What exactly? I mean, I don't know if I'm tuning exactly with what you're asking me, but more than just going really strong to the public, what we are trying to do is educating that Cava, has Cava, as everybody knows, and most consumers knows Cava, but Cava is related most of the times for consumers to price. So the private label issue is brought Cava for one reason or another to thinking of a great quality sparkling wine, but with a great value. And what we are promoting is Guarda Superior, which is a segmentation we did in Cava we created for Cava like 2 years ago. It's coming into the market. It started to come into the market in late 2022, and now in 23 is still coming, but not yet on most labels. And basically, Guarda Superior is a segmentation in which we distinguish Cava with more demanding regulation, not regulation, normatives to produce that Cava, no? And that's what we are trying to educate consumers into that category, because the other category already keeps going, you know. It's popular, it's known, it's been purchased by everybody, it's fairly successful. In fact, you have surprises as well.
Yeah, surprises. Yeah, but so obviously Cava, you can obviously, if you want to embrace Cava and explore Cava, you've got different styles of Cava, different sweetness levels, you've got different quality levels. You can have standard white Cava, you can have rosé Cava, just as much as, say, with champagne, you've got a different selection of wines. And even in Prosecco, you do get the rosé DOC, you get the white DOC. So Cava also has quite a deep variety of wines to offer.
Yes, yes. Cava starts from, as you said, regular Cava that I believe in the UK you could find in the groceries at around £6. Some of them, that compared to the market is a very easy entry point, an accessible entry point, and that's not basically what we promote, because that's already successful because of the price in itself. There is lots of it, and it's growing. It's growing a lot. Not in the UK, because in the UK, well, not really, because in the first quarter in the UK, Cava is grown in the UK 17%. It's
17%. That was in 2021 to 2022. I think there was an increase, wasn't there?
But now it's growing in 23, you know, versus 22. But last year, Cava decreased a little bit in the UK. It is our fourth major market. But that's not necessarily what we are trying to promote, because I think that consumers can see the label at the retail. Consumers know about this Cava, and the price entry point, it tells a lot about that. So what we are trying to put is all the money towards the upper category of Cava that consumers don't know that much, and the trade don't know that much, and that's Cava de Guarda Superior. It's a Cava that starts at 18 months of aging, you know, in the bottle, the second fermentation. So it's much more, you know, takes longer time, longer resources.
That standard Cava, Javier, is that 12 months on lease?
It's a 9. It starts at 9.
9 months. Okay, it's 9 months. So this is 18.
Up to 18th months would be Cava de Guarda, and then from 18 up is Cava de Guarda Superior. And that's, in that category, you're talking about a Reserva, a Gran Reserva, and a Cava de Paraje cualificado. So that would be the 3 types within this category. But this category also has, apart from the aging, you know, it has to be ecologic, you know, the vineyards, all of them has to have 10 years old. So what we are trying is to link this a lot to the terroir, to the vineyard, to the land, because that Cava, you know, needs to find a vineyard that at least is selected vineyards, you know, 10-year-old the vines, and then it has to be ecological, and then it has, you know, has lower yields as well. So that's what we are really promoting.
So the sustainability is a big theme and a big topic. Earlier this year, we had a sustainability summit in London for sparkling wines. How important is the word sustainability for yourselves at Cava Dio? How important is that subject?
Well, as I was saying before, we are focusing on Cava de Guarda Superior. That's the deal, because the brands and 100% of that Cava has to be ecological. So it means that the region took 2 years ago, when they approved the new normative, took the commitment that all the vineyards to produce that Cava would become ecological. And there is a transition period. and the transition period ends on 2025, I believe.
25. Okay.
25. But lots of it today, most of the region is convert. If a vineyard is you have 3 years to become ecological by the law. Okay?
Yeah.
So those that have not been converted won't be ready for 2025, and those will take longer. So the region, lots of vineyards in the region but need to be 10-year old, if not, it's cannot be, has converted and are converting to ecological. So it's a huge commitment because we believe in this. I think that the consumer also is looking for this. Europe is looking for this, and we have really jumped on that wagon, and we are for that.
Good. Well, that sounds good. So
sustainability is not only ecological, doesn't mean only action at the vineyard. There are many other actions that are linked to sustainability.
Yes.
Also goes alongside, but okay.
Well, it's the whole thing. It's production, it's bottles, it's transport of the wine. It's a big subject. It's a good subject. It interests me. So, I mean, Cava has a long history. Was it 150 years ago that the first Cava was made, or am I out on that?
No, it was officially the date we give, and there may be some Cavas that came to the market earlier, but let's say that we can track, the selling in a continuous way of Cava. At that time it wasn't called Cava, but Méthode Traditionnelle in 1872. So now we are talking, if we take 1972, we are talking already for 150 years, basically.
Yeah, that was Riventos, wasn't it? I think it was Riventos has that claim to 150 years.
Yes, that comes from a winery that's called Codorniu, no? And Josep Raventos was the one that got the claim not to continuously be producing that sparkling wine successfully into the marketplace. But there is always, when you go into the wine business, there's always a dispute who started first. Here, clearly, there is a continuity. But previously, there were experimental sparkling wines by the Méthode Traditionnelle that came into the marketplace, but some of them didn't continue any longer. The winery maybe bankrupt, or even, ownership changed, or whatever it is. So this is a clear continuity.
Definitely. And I've been to Cava a few years ago now, and I enjoyed very good vintage Cava. So with a lot of aging, those wines are incredible. I believe I went to Codorniu and had some down in the cellar. They've got beautiful cellars down there. And I don't know if you've been there, but you go into this very kind of small tasting room with all candles on the wall lighting up the room. And we did the most amazing vertical tasting there. So Cava can really also give you some great complexity in flavor. It's not just a fresh, fruity, vibrant flavor. It's also a complex, deeper for proper wine connoisseurs to enjoy.
Yeah, that's exactly what we are trying now to show to the world. The world knows, because we are talking about a deal, as you said before, that's growing. This year it has a nice growth. They have the pandemic has been already. We had the previous year before the pandemic. There were certain sales. Already we have overpassed those sales, and continues growing in its main markets. And also into new markets. So we are not necessarily letting the consumers know something they are seeing in many, many places and many, many retail shops. What we are trying now is to educate the world, as you were saying, that Cava has much more complexity for some people that don't know that much. And that's Cava de Guarda Superior. That can be, as I said before, from Reserva higher, And then out of that complexity is where the method shows best, but also you can show the different styles of Cava and also the different places, origins of Cava that also give personality to that cava.
And that tells me then if we have different styles and different complexity, that especially for, say, sommeliers and people wishing to enjoy fine gastronomy delights, cava and food could go quite well together.
They really go very well. And this is, we've done many, well, we know because we are Cava, and we have enjoyed Cavan food forever. But, we have realized that Cava goes very well with gastronomy. With any gastronomy. Is not only, we could say, is from Spain, but the cuisine of Spain, we are talking about the tapas, is more than tapas to the gastronomy of Spain. There is lots of it.
Yeah.
But tapas is a way of sharing, different kind of foods in small bits with different people. And Cava fits very well with that. But we can talk about Cava with Japanese cuisine, Mexican cuisine, Chinese cuisine, and all kind of cuisines. It has a lot of versatility. I think that Cava goes very well with food. Not only goes well with food. Enjoying a glass of Cava gives you pleasure, and then makes the occasion special. So even elevates the dish, which may be great already, but even brings it higher.
For special occasions as well as for food. I went to Barcelona as part of this wine tour, and we had amazing dinners and food in Barcelona with Cava. But let people know that's listening in, where is Cava in Spain?
What do you mean, in terms of selling or in terms of?
No, sorry, excuse me. The locations of Cava.
Location. Well, Cava is a DO that most of it is located around Barcelona, and around Barcelona is a fairly big area, but it's around Barcelona. We are talking about 38,000 hectares. That's the surface of Cava, and these hectares are distributed in different towns, and only certain towns and the acreage of surrounding the town are eligible to produce Cava, and they have, obviously, those vineyards have to be registered. Most of it happens within Catalonia, and within Catalonia we have different regions as well, which we call them zones, different subzones in Catalonia. But apart from Catalonia, we have Cava in the area of Valencia, surrounding Valencia, another one in Extremadura, another one in Rioja, and Navarra and Aragon. So there are different small towns that can produce Cava as well within Spain, and each one with its own characteristics and given different personality, offering different personality to the consumers.
Different terroirs, so different climates, microclimates, and the
different cultures, different people, all of it, and different philosophies in some cases. That brings, Cava, this kind of richness in terms of product offering. So
you said England or UK was fourth most popular export market, did you say?
Yes.
The first export would be, so number one.
The main market would be Spain with 30% of sales. But having said this, that shows that international markets means for Cava 70%. And that's a lot, because few DOs, generally speaking, are capable of selling so much outside its own domestic market.
That's a success. That's a testament to the demand or the respect of Cava internationally.
Really is. And the dispute is being dispute. It's a way of saying that there is no competition, not certainly in terms of countries, but for us, we see who are the main countries. And there is always been among these four, which is basically UK, Germany in Europe, and Belgium. Belgium is a more recent one, but already we're talking about 15 years already that Belgium started to grow up quite fast. And it's surprising because of the population of Belgium, but they consume lots of Cava. and then the other one is the United States. We're talking
United
about
States, I'd say. Yeah.
these four are the four major ones. UK became at one point in time, we are talking a few years ago, number one, but
Yes.
it's no longer number one, and now it's number fourth. The UK starting decreasing, I think, with the success of Prosecco,
Yes.
when Prosecco started overtaking any other sparkling wine, and Cava included, I think that Cava started to, at that time, stop growing and then sliding slowly, but keeping basically the volumes, but sliding slowly. And in the last few years, it's up and down and maintaining. I think that the Brexit took another hit. Well, the year previous to the Brexit grew a lot, because I think that the market, not knowing what the Brexit would mean, I'm talking about now distributors and retailers, they were unsure about logistics and totally the import laws and the duties and everything. So people started taking lots of product, more than they needed, just in terms of precaution,
Yes.
And that gave a big boost to the UK. But then years after that, it started slowly, decreasing slowly. Now we have 3 months out of the year with a nice growth, but I still think it's too early to say. We also know that champagne, generally speaking, is lacking of product, and that is creating an additional demand for Cava, as for other sparkling wines. But Cava also is on the brink of not being able to supply all the markets at the growth rate that the markets are asking for. So Cava will have also to start thinking how start grows and the way they do it.
So that growth, are you talking about expansion in size?
Exactly, expansion in size has to be measured carefully, because the demand at this time is high. The one we are seeing at the sellers, the inventories are tight, and that means that the sellers will have to administer or manage that demand in the right way.
And in for the future as well. But you're not the only wine region to say that. There are the other wine regions have all looked at this. It's just it has to happen. Otherwise, only certain people can buy the wine, or the price becomes so expensive. So there has to be a give, as long as it's done properly, and I'm sure it will be done properly. Then
we are trying to do it in a proper way, exactly.
Yeah, it's a necessity.
And quality, always quality in mind. Basically, that to me is what it means properly. It's up to every seller to decide, how they sell and to whom they sell and to what markets or customers. More than markets, what customers they push more or they emphasize more or less. But yes, that has to be done with a quality point of view, because Cava needs to be thinking in a quality point of view, because it's only logical like any other region. And since we are making sparkling wine only by the method traditionnel, and that takes lots of money basically to finance that. You need to finance the cellars. You need to buy the bottles previously. The bottles have to be in the cellars. If you are Cava de Guarda Superior more than 18 months, that's
a big commitment.
Yeah, it's a big commitment, and you need to make sure that you elevate your perception in front of the consumer, because we understand that the consumer in many markets, like in the UK, we have great consumers that really love Cava, and great experts that love Cava. But I would say that the average consumer thinks that Cava is, some may say better or worse things about Cava, but generally speaking, their perception is good quality sparkling wine, but the perception is maybe lower than I would.
Well, I think it's the price. I mean, consumers will know champagne and they'll know Prosecco. Exactly. All the other ones they're not sure of. Franciacorta, Method Classic, they don't really know. They go into sparkling wine, but the Prosecco and champagne have made a name, and Cava. So we do. Most public, it's a household product name. We'll know of Cava. But I mean, I've written down quotes here that it's the economical choice, or it's the value choice to go with Cava, where you want to turn that round, that people get quality. Value is good, value for money is good, but you want the quality. You don't want them to think, well, do I go for Prosecco or Cava? You want them to think, do I understand traditional methods? Do I want champagne or do I want Cava? And there is a good price point, because it may be a good 20-30% cheaper than champagne, but it's still made with the same way, same time, effort, costs.
That's our vision, and that's what we pretend. I mean, to pretend to be equal to champagne is impossible. Well, some champagnes may be, because we are talking that some champagnes, they are sold as an opportunity or at cost or whatever it is. But most of it is really clearly selling at high prices. And the perception the market, the trade, the consumers have about champagne is amazing. It's a huge brand. But as you are saying, want to be perceived as a great quality sparkling wine at an advantage, generally speaking, champagne, because we cannot pretend to equal them in price. So that means that still we are value in respect to them, but quality comes first. Not necessarily price is the only reason or the main reason. It would come as another, as an intelligent buy. There are many markets. There are, as you were saying. I mean, you have glasses of sparkling wine on your T-shirt, and your shirt.
Yes.
And
this is Cava. This is Cava.
But I was going to say the Cava. That's not true. The sparkling wine you're making in the UK, for instance, I've tasted some of them. That I believe it's great sparkling wines, all of it, maybe not, but there are some people that are really doing a great job. And we are talking.
Definitely, there's some amazing sparkling wine. Yeah. We got some just up the road to us. So and they're popping up all over, because there is no classification in area. You can more or less start where you want to. So it's just popping up like that, as opposed to an area such as Cava or Champagne or even Prosecco. There's a nominated area. You can't you can't plant outside those areas. But that is the thing, that there's a lot of quality, and UK market, I think, is very taken on name brand awareness. And I think that's where Champagne does well, is all of the years of marketing, all of the films, the Formula One, the James Bond movie. Everybody knows Champagne. They think it's quality and expensive. So if you turn up to the party with champagne, everybody likes you. But we know that a lot of champagnes are very average, very plain, just okay. You're buying the name, you're not buying inside the bottle. And I think times are changing, where consumers are understanding that not to be taken on too much by a name and brand, and go for quality. So I suppose with Cava, the challenge that you've got is to educate more people, probably especially the wine connoisseurs and the sommeliers, the people that are out on the field, to distribute the information that, hey, this bottle's Cava, this is not an old sparkling wine, this is a young, vibrant, and it matches champagne.
I fully agree with you. Instead of you recording me, I should record you, because you are describing exactly what we are aiming at. Because I wish we had enough money to go to consumer directly, and you take James Bond movie, just to go on to the same kind of movies, where James Bond arrives and shows a bottle of Cava, let's say, branded or not branded. That would be great for the image of Cava, but we don't have this kind of budget. So our money is concentrated basically into education, and education for us is, as you said, what we call influencers, and most of the influencers are wine experts, wine aficionados, and people from the trade, and those we try to reach them in one way or another, because they can try to explain the story and help us explaining the story.
Spain, yeah. So that it has to be a relationship between the two. But again, I've been to Cava. I've tasted amazing Cava, and I can remember amazing tasting, as I say, in Cordonnery. So it's all there. You've just got to take it forward.
I agree. I agree.
You've got to find James Bond.
Well, maybe in a different way, because James Bond,
Maybe in a different way.
I don't think we've got that money yet. Maybe
Not that yet. Not yet. But it's all good. It's all positive. It will all happen. I'm quite sure. The history's there. The quality's there. The name's there. So
and we need patience. Yes. We need patience, and patience is part of the wine business. And some people might like that to happen, this year. It's not going to happen. Maybe not even the next 5 years. But the nice thing that in the next 5 years, we can see that we have moved on the right way, and that we have advanced on the right way. That more and more people knows us also, not only for Cava, which is great. So no complain about a fresh, young, sparkling wine of 11, 12 months, whatever it is, but that Cava that also has an additional complexity and is tied to the territory more and to the vineyard and to, and the philosophy of the owner. And I think these kind of Cavas, we want to see them more and more into the marketplace and helping all, and it will help the whole Cava concept. Yeah.
I agree with you. One last thing, obviously you've got the Freshnet, isn't it? Freshnet, if I said that correctly. So they do Cava. I think they've also gone across and bought Prosecco. Is that a good thing for yourselves, or are you not?
Well, I don't even question that, because that's a reality, and so I don't put too much time into. Some people criticize, some people say good things about that. Well, I just think that the wineries need to be free to do what they want, as long as they comply with, when they do Cava, they need to comply with the Cava DO. And what is important to me with Freixenet, but Freixenet and any other Cava, not them, is that they really go, they push for quality, the same as everybody else, and they, go into this. With this trajectory that we were saying before. In the end, Cava is growing as well. So I think it really matters that much.
Freshnet it looks like a young and vibrant brand. That's what you assume, and the bottle design and this. Whereas when we think of Cava, maybe some people thinking of old stuff, my parents or grandparents, old stuff they're thinking. I suppose it's trying to make it modern, because there's a lot of youngsters that do drink wines and go out for dinners and spend money on that. So I suppose it's keeping the traditions of Cava, but also being young at the same time and appealing to the young market. Not an easy job you've got, Javier, but I'm sure you'll make it a success there.
Well, as I said before, you see, I have given myself easy objectives. And this is patience and keep pushing in the right way. As long as we have that vision, and everybody at Cava rows, rowing, no?
Yes.
In the same direction. I'm sure in 5 years we'll see a significant change, not totally change, but a significant change, and more and more more and more consumers really going for a quality sparkling Cava, and is willing to pay a demanding price. But that doesn't necessarily need to be the most expensive, but a price. But they pay it because they think it's worth, because of its quality and what it's offering them.
I totally agree. Well, it sounds like you've got a wonderful job as well, an exciting job, an exciting few years. You'll no doubt be busy, and hopefully we'll be in contact quite a lot.
Well, you said there was some time you came to Spain. Spain is still there. Barcelona is still here.
Yes, it is.
What you need to be doing is, joining us again. And seeing already if there is, what this new Cava de Guarda Superior, what is happening and offering, So you need to come.
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see that because I know the quality's there. So I'm excited. Well, look, thank you very much for spending your time with me, and thank you, Rebecca, also for organising at Sopaxa.
Thank you, Rebecca. I thought you would be leaving, and you have stayed for all the interview. I hope you.
Just in case anything broke down.
You can't trust me, eh?
No, if I leave, the whole interview terminates because I'm the host.
You're the host.
No, but Christopher, we'll get some samples to you as I promised. After the interview, we'll share with you what's possible so that you can taste some of the covers that Javier was talking about.
Well, as I say, tell me, yeah, sorry.
No, I just wanted to thank you because they had already told me in the briefing, or in the briefing, I'm not sure, that you know lots of sparkling wine, but you are very easy to talk, and I can confirm that you are kind and easy to talk.
That's lovely. Well, I'm sure we'll be chatting more. I should be coming over to Cava at the end of November. So that will be something, and if there's any trips planned, let me know. And if you need an apprentice that help you taste your wines at any time, give me a call.
Thank you very much.
Right.
That's for sure. Thank you.
Have a lovely evening, everyone. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye bye.